Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 2 of our uranium bull case. Now if you have missed part 1, actually I would really recommend you to watch that video first before you're watching this one. There will somewhere be a link in the description or somewhere popping up. There we have discussed everything that has happened in the bull market, and I started building up the fundamental case of the maybe biggest run in uranium ever for the next decade. And today we are going to pick up where we left off, and that is to tell you why the market has changed so much by one specific party as of recently. Before we are really going to dive in, please do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment or share this video with your friends if you think this is useful. Now let's continue with the story. So I ended the last video to say that one party has entered space and that changed everything. Well, that party is Sprott. And Sprott is a huge fund. Now Sprott is usually active in the gold, silver, platinum market, but now they also have decided to enter the uranium market. And that is no coincidence, because they have most likely, just like me, connected all the dots and saw that there was most likely a huge bull market coming up. But they really took action physically on the market. So what they have done is starting buying up as much as uranium as they can. Starting off with buying 3.5 million pounds of uranium. Now this market is very tiny, so this is super significant. They bought that for only 125 million. That also shows right away why this market is so tiny, because 125 million for an institute, a bank or an investor is absolutely nothing. Some of these parties only make decisions from $1 billion and higher. So that they could move the market with only 125 million shows exactly where we are right now. And Sprott has continuously kept on buying from that moment on. And to show that they are very serious, the CEO said as of recently that they expect another bullish 2022, and they are planning to buy up another 2.5 billion physical uranium. And on top of that, they will also create a uranium ETF that they will offer to their 200,000 clients. Now, if that product comes on the market, then right away 200,000 extra clients with most likely a lot of funds are ready to enter the market. Now, if you think that all the points that I've mentioned in video 1 and the ones that I just recently mentioned is enough, it gets even worse. Because as of recently, there has been a lot of political protest and resistance in Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan is the major producer of uranium in the world. They are responsible for more than 40% of all the production. You can compare this a little bit to Saudi Arabia, who is the world's largest oil producer. We also don't want any political instability in that country because so many people are depending on it. And on that same day, CNBC came out with an article saying that the European Union is thinking about labeling uranium as green energy. Now, why is this significant? It is because a lot of pension funds, banks and investors can only invest in certain labels or in certain guidelines that they need to follow. For example, clean energy, and they cannot invest in bad sectors or dirty energy, let's say the tobacco industry or coal mines. But if they are suddenly able to invest into this kind of sector, you can imagine that suddenly billions of dollars are ready to flood into the market. And according to Goldman Sachs, uranium needs to hit somewhere between $50 and $60 before investors are ready to invest into the market again. Also, that number is not a coincidence, because the break-even price is somewhere between $50 and $60 depending on the operation, the mine, what is on the balance sheet. So that can depend a little bit per producer, but that is kind of the break-even point. Right now, uranium is doing approximately $46, so we are almost hitting that break-even point. If we are looking at the annual demand for uranium, that is right now 150 million. If you would multiply that by the current price, so $46, you get a 6.9 billion market cap. Now, I think that that is maybe still a little bit small, because in this calculation I'm not taking into account what is still circulating on the secondary market. So most likely the market cap is a little bit bigger, but even if it would be 10 billion, that is still a very tiny market. And to compare this to another market, let's say the gold market, which is also a commodity, that a gold market has a size of 11.5 trillion, and whereas the stock market has a size of a little bit shy of 100 trillion per year. Now you can imagine what happens to such a tiny market where suddenly so much liquidity is flooding the market, and especially when you see that one party with a purchase of only 125 million already moves the price of uranium. Imagine what then all the billions of dollars will do to the price and to the stocks. It is a little bit like you want to push all the water of the Hoover Dam into a straw. So if we need to summarize the fundamental bull case, then we're seeing that we're having a current demand that is higher than the offer. We are running out of supply on the secondary market. The current mines are entering their depletion phase. New mines taking 10 years to build. Hundreds of nuclear plants will be built in the future. New parties and liquidity are entering the space. And the market for uranium is very, very small. Now you might be thinking, Ray, nice story, but I am not going to buy a mine or a nuclear plant, and I'm definitely not going to store any uranium in my backyard. Now I totally understand. So how can you be exposed to the market? Now you can do that by buying stocks of uranium producers. And in this case, what we see is that usually the stocks of the certain companies are rising and falling with the factor 3 to 5 harder than the underlying asset. So in this case, if uranium would rise 1%, then usually we see the stocks of those miners going up 3% or 5%. And of course also if they're dumping down 1%, then those miners will also dump down 3 to 5%. The same we see also in gold and silver and other commodities. And if we're looking at some of the stocks in the last 12 months, then we're seeing exactly that. Of course, the uranium price has gone up, but some of the stocks had a tremendous run, definitely beating most of the markets. For example, here you see the stock of Cameco Corporation. This stock has risen up somewhere between $10 and $15, all the way up to currently $22. Denison Mines was a little bit less than $1. I think it's approximately 80 cents. It rose all the way up to $1.60. And Paladin Energy Limited was as low as just 30 cents and is right now trading around 90 cents. Also UEC, Uranium Energy Corp, had a tremendous run, also a bit of a fallback again, but it was trading around $2, went up all the way to $5.5 and is now coming back a little bit, trading around $3.32. Now these returns are pretty good and you would have most likely outperformed the broader market. But these returns are absolutely nothing compared to what these same stocks have done in the bull market between 2000 and 2007. So let's look at the chart again and then let's look at the price between 2000 and 2007. So there we're seeing that Cameco Corp went from just a few dollars way over $50. Denison Mines went from just a few cents to more than $15. And the real home run, which was almost 100x, was Paladin Energy, which also went from just a few cents for more than $9. Now the only time that we have seen similar returns is actually in crypto, and that's also why I choose this title. Because where in crypto you see some altcoins going 100x or 200x, you don't really have a physical product. You're investing into a startup and they still need to build everything, and you hope that in a few years from now they have a working good product. Whereas from the uranium space, you really have physical mines, you have clients, you have balance sheets, you have cash flows. It is much more physical and you can really point at it, and therefore it reminds us a little bit more into, like, let's say the normal economy, if you can see cryptocurrencies as a different asset. Now if we connect all the dots, it looks like we have a tremendous bull case for the future. But is there also a bear case to be made? Yep, absolutely. Because we can always have certain disasters, let's say an earthquake, a tsunami, an attack, or suddenly an invention that makes nuclear plants not necessary anymore. Now, although all of that is horrible and let's hope it never happens, it seems unlikely that governments will stop this direction that they have taken, because if it takes 7 to 10 years and it costs billions of dollars to build all of these nuclear plants, it doesn't look like that this is a decision that is made overnight. They really thought about this and they said, yes, let's do this. So even if there would be a disaster somewhere, I think that they will not come back on the decision this time. But maybe even more important, regardless of the bull or the bear case, I think a lot of governments still have a lot of work to do. Because let's be honest, when I started off the very first video, I asked you what kind of assumption do you have with uranium that is most likely something negative. And that idea, that perspective that we have all over the world, that is something that needs to change. Because if we are really able to build safe and very clean nuclear plants, this could be a solution to green energy. But I think we still have a very, very long way to go to convince people that this could be part of a green solution and something that could be very, very sustainable. Now, after hearing all of this, you know my position. I am very bullish and I want to be completely transparent. I am invested in some of the uranium stocks that you saw earlier, also other ones. So maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I try to see this case as objective as I can. Now, of course, none of this was financial advice. Everything was merely my opinion. Always do your own research. And if this was helpful for you, then please let me know in the comments. If you think I completely missed something, I also really like to hear it. And when you're down there anyways, also hit that like button, subscribe, click the bell, click on all so that you don't miss anything for future notifications. And feel free to add me on Instagram and on Twitter. Links are in the descriptions. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye bye.